Hi everyone, it's Al. Today's job. It's a lovely day, so I've decided today's the day to fit this awning. This is made by a firm called Primrose, and it's 3.5 metre one I've got here. I have all the brackets to install it here. I'm going to show you how to fit this thing up on the wall, the right anchors and the right drill bits, etc. Get it up and get it levelled out. It's going to go up on my wall there, above the patio doors, which I expect is where most people would want one. And if you've got a sunny back garden like I have, it faces south and gets quite a lot of heat. We do need a shade here. So without further ado, we'll get on. The next step is to get your bracket and work out where you're going to have it up on the wall. Okay, do a nice straight line right the way along the wall, the length of your awning. Okay, a laser level is also very good for this part of the job. Okay everyone, I've marked up my 3 brackets for this particular size because it's a 3.5. If it's only 3 or less, you've only got 2 brackets to put up, okay, so it's not quite so bad. Now on to fixing the actual brackets themselves, which is very important. Obviously you want a solid brick, or like mine, a solid construction wall to fix these two. So make sure you have got something solid you're going to. Wood is not good enough, okay. You really have got to have something quite substantial for this. Now obviously you know we're fitting these bolts here. Now I've done a little drawing there for you how it's going to go. I've got the instructions off the site, and it's a 12 or 40 millimetre drill bit, and it's got to go in at least 90 millimetres into the wall. Okay, and these are the bolts to go in. Alright, so it says a 12 bit or a 14 mil drill bit, and there's a difference in the sizes. I'm going to try the 12 first. It looks too small to me, but I can always open it up with a 14, and I'll let you know. We'll try that next. And it turns out to be the 14 mil that is the one, okay, not the 12. And what I've done is, because it wants to go in 90 millimeters, I've measured it and put a piece of tape so that I know the depth. I'll just show you, see there, I put that tape measure up there and it's 90 millimetre. By putting a bit of tape there, we know not to go any further than that depth there. A 17 mil spanner, just tightening your bolts now, just tap them in the wall, okay, and then just tighten them up. I use a 17 mil spanner I've got here, but you can use a socket set. It's entirely your choice, and just tighten them up until they can go no more. Now this one I've tightened him up already, it won't go anymore, it's right up, and all you've got to do then is undo the nut, and this will be the bolt that attaches to the awning. Okay, so we take that off of there, we'll remove one of the washers and leave the back one on, as it says in the instructions, and then we'll stick that on. So this is all you do now, and do this to all 6 bolts if you're doing a 3.5 metre. Obviously if you're doing the 3 or less, you only got to do 2 of these brackets. Right, just before we go for hanging a blind, I will show you the rest of this bracket. I like the long part of the bracket, the hole at the bottom, so I can move it around like so. Okay, to make sure it's dead level. But once you tighten these up, you can just undo these then with your fingers. Okay, take the nut off. Okay, the nut off the bottom one. Don't drop it like I've just done, and just take the circlip washer off, as it says on the instructions, and put the bolt on there. Okay, get it on, put the circlip washer back, and the same with the bottom, and then do your nuts up. You might find it easier with a box spanner, but I still prefer the open ender myself, but that's what I prefer. That's down to you. Okay, I'll just get the nut I've dropped and put that on the top, tighten it up, and we're ready for the blind. Tighten her in, and it's ready for the sunshade now. In a minute, it's going to go into this bracket, and we're going to drop a bolt through the top, and we'll show you that in a minute. And we need 2 people for that. You need 1 each end. Okay, I still prefer to tighten this up with a spanner, but you can use a box spanner if you prefer. Okay, so tighten the top and the bottom one, and then we're there. As you can see, it's a bit tight with a spanner, so if it's easier with a box spanner over the top, you know, use that. But I'm okay with this. Okay, we'll move on to the lifting of the blind. Just one thing I want to show you before we go lifting the blind, and if I pull away from this bracket, you'll see that there's my other bolt up there. And one thing that is not in the instructions for this online is that there is a head distance. It's not given. I just assumed it would bolt straight on there and come out, but it doesn't. It needs so much headroom. Silly Billy, but there you go. I don't want you to make the same mistake as me, so I've had to bolt and drop it down. I've used one of the holes, and I had to put fresh bolts in there now. One more thing before it goes up, just make sure it's up the right way. Don't do what I did and put it around slightly the wrong way. That is the way, okay, that it has to go. That bar straight up into the connectors you've got up on the wall on the supports. Okay, that's it. Just give it a lift down so you can see that that hangs down. All right. There you go.
Yeah, she's in.
Yep. Gonna put your bolt in. Put your bolt in.
Yeah.
From the bottom upwards. We've got a middle one, so we've got this one to do as well. So you can see there the bolts there that we've just put in, okay? And they lock the bar back so that now when we tighten this up it'll be securely in place. Okay, last bit now, just tighten it in place. Ready for action. Here she goes. We need some shade now, we've got a bit of sun. Let's get some nice shade in. You can see she's got a nice long reach. Goes out a nice long way. We'll take it right out so you can see it. There we have it. Looking quite nice. And the arms are meant to be slightly in like that. It says on the diagram, so have it slightly in, that keeps it taut. Otherwise, if you go too far, it will just collapse like that. You don't have it like that. You put it back a bit and keep it nice and taut. The adjusters for adjusting the drop is on those two bolts there. You see them? On those bolts there, you can lower that down so the angle is more steep, or you can take it back. I've left it at a factory setting, what I prefer. That's it, how to fit an awning. And cheap, only £109. But saying this quality, I think, is a good buy. You can buy it from my site. I will have it listed there as well if you want to buy it from there. Thanks very much for watching. Derek33.